Look, you're in the corner.
Yeah, it works better on the smaller one.
Q&A. Do you know what Q&A means?
Questions and answers.
Yes.
2, 1. Hello everybody, Johnny Bradley here from Monster Generation. Massive privilege to come on and sort of host a bit of a live Q&A with Darren Tucker. We've been working together for the past few months. Obviously, everyone knows that I help people sort of promote music and get their music heard. So we've developed a great friendship, I think, for the past few months, talking music with various other things. So thought this would be a nice thing just to come on, have a bit of a chat. Who knows where it'll go? We could talk about anything, but primarily the focus is talking about Darren's music and a bit of a backstory and when he first started into music and this and everything else. So we've received some questions, but if anybody wants to drop a few, we have Molly on the side. She's got some questions from people who want to join us live, and we'll just get to it and we'll invite Darren on now.
Yeah.
Hello, Darren.
Anyone hear me okay? We're all good?
So there we go. We're both on. So people throughout the day have probably been wondering, what have we been doing? I mean, who were mutual friends. We've been trying this out all day. We've had a few technical difficulties, but we've sort of managed to get there in the end, haven't we?
Yeah. It's been an experience, isn't it? Yeah. I must say, I'm quite impressed with your daily attire.
My what? Sorry.
Your daily attire. You know, your Superman outfit.
Oh yeah. I was hoping. I think most people who know me know that I'm a scruff throughout the week, and I only become a mod when I go out at the weekend. As soon as I come home from work, the uniform's off, and I've got my pajamas on, and that's me for probably the rest of the week. But until I'm back to work. So just start off, Darren. I mean, I know that we've done an interview before, but just for people who may be watching, tell us sort of how you got into music and maybe your first sort of experiences of music.
Well, yeah, it started. I started when I was quite young. I mean, my first real music experience. When you're young, music's always there. But then at some point or another, something happens, doesn't it? And it makes music that much special. And mine was about the time when Elvis died. I remember him dying, and then everybody playing the Elvis stuff and showing the films and the videos. And for me, that's pretty much where it really started. Sort of the love of music, but also at that same point realised actually with my dad as well, the music he was playing. Been listening to it for years without really knowing that you're listening to it, if that makes any sense. And then, of course, from there on, really, so from that point on, it's been nothing but music for me. I just love what I do, and all genres of music. It's just love it. It's a song's a good song, music's good music, performer's a good performer. If you've got all of that, it's brilliant.
I think most people, what I touched on there was you mentioned Elvis. I think most people who are into music or musicians and music fans can always sort of look at somebody like Elvis and take inspiration from it. I mean,
yeah,
he's the king. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing. Even if you don't like his music, you can still look at him as an artist or his music and go, "Wow, look how much he sort of."
Most definitely, yeah.
Just tell us then. Firstly, obviously, those were your inspirations. So I believe you were in cover bands before you started writing your own stuff. Tell us a bit about that and some of the
I for quite a few years I've done sort of quite a few different cover bands. Jumping, not jumping, but moving from one band to another for a while, sort of improving and doing what I do. But that was mostly sort of like the rock and the rock and roll kind of stuff. I think my first proper band I joined, I didn't actually join until it was probably my mid early 20s was my first experience. So I was quite a latecomer when it comes to playing live music. Yeah, and just we've been in 8, maybe 10 different bands. You know, some of those were just rehearsal bands. You know, others were gigging bands and everything else. You know.
So what made you then go, do you know what? Right, being in a cover band is brilliant, and I'm enjoying it. But what made you go, do you know what? I need to put this aside and start focusing on writing my own music. When was that?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question, John. Yeah. Being in cover band, it's like anything. You're doing all other everybody else's music, yeah, and you're being led by your favourite artists all the time. But inside me, there's always this piece that I've always been doing, where I've been messing around with my own bits and pieces, writing my own sort of poems, if you like, and then and stuff like that. And it just went. Realistically, a few years back, the bottom line was I was quite unwell for a while, and wrote during that period of being unwell. I wrote quite a few sort of somber poems and then little bits of stories and everything else. And then after basically becoming quite well again, decided that I was going to record them into songs only for fun. But Amanda sort of persuaded me that actually these are a bit better than just something for fun. So yeah, it was kind of like I wanted to do it. I wasn't brave enough to do it, but Amanda sort of pushed me into this, going, "No, do you know what? You should go and do it." So yeah, that's pretty much how it happened, really. But being in the bands was fun and it was enjoyable. But there's always that bit of me wanting to do. It just wanted me to do that a little bit more. I just wanted to play, wanted to do my stuff, wanted to be heard of what I could do and what my thoughts were and my ideas of what music is and what comes out of me,
Yeah, just for people who are watching there who don't know Amanda, she's obviously your long-term partner.
Yes, she is, yeah.
Just so people know about.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. She won't be happy. She won't be happy with me forgetting saying that.
So yeah, obviously Amanda said in summary there, basically said, "This is good. You should get out there." So what was your, obviously that there then became Modified, and I picked that album up there, although we didn't sort of have a developed a friendship at the time. I bought the album. You were selling it on eBay at the time, I believe. So I bought the album and I was blown away by what I was hearing, and I thought it was great. And there was, just like most music that I'll review or I'll feature or I'll like, it's all about somebody's experiences, and I can relate to them. And I think if you can do that in a song, you've done it. If somebody can listen to that song and then feel the same what you intended them to feel.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, I mean the songs, every song on the Modified album, which is which these days is called the demo album, because obviously that was the first thing that we really done of any sort of description, really. And all those songs are real life songs. They're not just something that's been made up to make into a song. They are actually real experiences of one thing or another. So yeah, so it was my way of getting out of my head. Not I mean out of my head, but that to get from my head onto paper, onto music, my thoughts, my feelings, and the way that the way that these things happen and the way they make me feel. So that's what I've done. And to be perfectly honest, if people can relate to those songs and relate to those lyrics and relate to the way that that they feel, then that's absolutely fantastic. I'm really happy with it. So that's what it was supposed to be.
I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were saying that I write music for myself. I don't try and write for my fans or the audience that I'm trying to buy my music. And I said, well, okay. And he turned around and said, well, because I'm true to myself. I write for what I like, and if other people like it, brilliant. If they don't, then that's also fine. So I think if you write a song or you write music for yourself, I think that there shows to the listener that this is not, this is not for the purpose of making a record. It's made for me. There's passion in this. There's drive in it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I write songs, and some, like I've spoken to you before about this. Sometimes I can write a song and in an afternoon it's gone from a piece of paper to a recorded demo. And other times, you're talking about 3 or 4 months and I'm still working on it. but for every song I write, for everything I do, it is about how I feel, and it is about what's going on. And I do write the calls. I put the calls down. I put the tunes down, and it is about what I like. And I've done really also from that. I kind of like the way that the things are sound, the way that I do them. And obviously, I'm enhancing things as I go along, as you well know. I mean, the second album from the first album, it's a tremendous leap. But when you listen to the two, you can still hear that the fact is I'm still writing for myself. I'm not being led by anybody. I'm not being told what I should and shouldn't do. I'm leading myself. And at the end of the day, for me, it's either do I like it, yes or no? Does it sound good, yes or no? They're the two things that I need. Anything after that, it doesn't really matter. However, if the people out there are liking it as well, and if the people can relate to it, and the listeners, really do enjoy it, then hell, I'm doing something really, really good. So, so I shan't stop.
I think, obviously getting to know you, you're the sort of guy that loves feedback. If someone got in touch with you, I don't think you would take it to heart if they turn around and said, I'm not really keen on that track, or I love that track, or I don't think that's too good. And I suppose from your fans, that's what you do want. It's not that you would change what you're doing, but you would kind of like that feedback to maybe confirm to yourself that this is a good track, or this is a bad track, or whatever, and you can adapt.
That's right, yeah.
Forward. But one of the things I sort of was impressed by when I picked up Modified, and I started talking to you, was that it was recorded at home. There's no master.
Yes.
There's no mad producers.
No.
It's all you. So obviously, tell me about your setup and what equipment did you need to go and buy to put this on CD?
All right, yeah. Modified was totally wrote at home, and the sort of a long story sort of into short. Realistically, it starts off in my living room on an acoustic guitar or maybe a piano or something like that, and then I've got this tiny little studio, a shoebox sized studio, and then basically I have standard equipment, and I would go into there and then record my demo, and then basically it goes through like two or three procedures. But yeah, normally once I've written a song, I go in the studio, put it down as demo, listen to the demo for perhaps a week, get the feel of what I need to do with it, and then I will go back into the studio and record it the best I can. But yeah, you're right. I have no engineers on Modified. There isn't everything on Modified is actually. Every instrument is played by me. Every vocals is sung by me. Even the album cover was designed by me, and the photos. I can't actually. I've got to be honest. Amanda took the photo of the front of the scooter. It's her photo, and we use that. But everything's done by myself, and I can assure you that the learning curve from that was absolutely phenomenal. From that, and the feedback that came back from it, and I mean, I got some tremendous feedback from it. There's a few people around, like the AIM, a couple of lads from the AIM, a couple of lads from Electric Stars. They had a listen to it, kind of pointed me in the right direction of what I need to do to make things better. However, it wasn't negative. It was all positive. And like you say, I do like feedback, and I do thrive on it. And to get feedback from those kind of guys, and more importantly as well, the help from them kind of guys to make it better was actually fantastic. But there's a couple of people out there even today still don't quite believe that actually everything was recorded in my shoebox room at home, on my inexpensive studio.
Yeah, I mean, that was just before we carry on. Can I ask you to maybe move, because we've got that logo in your face? We want to maybe move you down slightly, or just so that your eyes not covered by the nice logo we have on. That's better, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Things that stood out for me, and then obviously you started putting that out there, and I think when you started putting that out, and obviously it's just yourself, you're trying to get people to buy the music, get people to hear that, and then Tom Hilton came on board. So tell me about the relationship you have with Tom Hilton, and if people don't know, Tom Hilton runs Aldora Britain Records.
Yeah, it's like Tom Hilton, yeah.
Say again.
Yeah, so we're talking about Tom, yeah, and my relationship with Tom Hilton, yeah? Yeah. Tom, Tom's a bit like yourself. Well, he's a lot like yourself. You and Tom, as far as I'm concerned, are you're the same kind of people. You love your music and you love. So, sorry, that all cut out there. I didn't hear that.
But that's not a bad person to be compared to. I'm happy
No,
with that.
honestly, there's a few people in my in my music world that I admire and I look up to. Yourself and Tom are certainly in that group. But Tom, wow, where Tom heard the modified album. I'm not sure actually if it was you who gave it to him. I think it might have been you, mightn't it?
No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that was yourself that Tom got the demo, and then from that point on, Tom was like emailing me and texting me and messaging me and things like that, and I get a little bit embarrassed and I get a little bit camera shy and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really out there as a lot of others are, which is not a problem, but that's just the way I am. So it took me a little while to actually to start speaking to Tom. But once I did, our relationship grew and grew, and the support that Tom has given me, not just me, but my music. It's the music and the support that he's been given that, and the push that he's been given that, and the places that he's got that album is absolutely unbelievable, and I've got to be perfectly honest, yeah. Without Tom doing what he does for Dora Music, people like me, we wouldn't even get our little 30 seconds of claim to fame, And so so people like Tom, yeah, thanks Tom, we love you, man, and we really do appreciate what you do.
Just touching on Tom there, I mean, I've been doing Monster Regeneration since 2015, and recently within the last year, sort of discovered what Tom was doing. And I think, like you said there, we're probably both of the same people. We had a chat to see if we collaborate and what we could do to help each other out. I throw bands his way, he throws bands my way, and we can sort of just collectively work together in promoting independent music and help people get the music out there. So we hit it off pretty much straight away. And obviously I'm Irish and he's Scottish. We just clicked, So what he does for music, I mean, I look at him in absolute awe of what he does. I mean, the stuff he puts out is just,
it's amazing.
I put out amateur work, and I've never tried to pretend that it's anything more than amateur, But what Tom does is just unbelievable. And I mean, for example, you've been on various compilations now. What he does, and if people
know
that. So what he does is he has various artists on a compilation. You download that compilation, and you might pick out, say there's 20 tracks on that. You might pick out 10 that you like, 10 that you don't. But that's great. You've discovered that band, and the aim is that you'll go onto that band's Facebook page, hopefully buy their album, discovering a whole new collective of new music. And what?
Really, yeah.
And that, I think that's the aim. If I'm wrong, please message me, Tom, and tell me that I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's from it. But I mean, what he does is wonderful, and the fact that he puts so many people on there and champions so many people from across the world. And like me, it started with a few likes and it's relatively unknown. Now it's going huge. Everybody and their dogs talking about Aldora Records. It's the place to discover the best new music of today, and obviously people like yourself.
Absolutely,
brilliant.
Absolutely. I mean, you can go to Aldora Music, Aldora Records, and you can go with one name, search that one name in there, and you'll find dozens and dozens and dozens of more names. I can name dozens of people in there that I listen to. I mean, the two at the minute, I just absolutely love everything they do at the minute. John Donegan and Bill Newton. I mean, those two people, I'd never have heard of those if it wasn't for people like Tom. And to get to listen to to such talent, and why it's not being played and why it's not getting further afield, God only knows. But if there's people like me and there's people like you there who still listen to it and still appreciating it, then we're doing okay, aren't we? Really?
Yeah, I mean, and obviously what goes along with that is not just the compilation, but he does a review for each track, um, um, and it's basically it should be a magazine. It's almost like an online magazine. I mean, sometimes
Yeah,
there's 100 pages of just absolute genius reviews, you know. So if you people who watch him, go and check out Aldora Britain Records, massive support of independent music, and obviously a massive support of you and many other artists, some that we mentioned there. Bill Newton, I spoke to him the other day. What a great guy, you know. And I mean, people think, well, why would Johnny like Bill Newton sort of music? And I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. It took me, I said to him, it took me into a zone of sort of feeling that I was listening to the theme tune of a horror movie, which was just, you know, and obviously horror is my favourite music, or favourite sort of
yeah.
movies. So big shout out to Bill Newton, and a great conversation with him the other day. So hopefully we'll get together and do some work. And all
Yeah.
the big mods out there will come around and say, Johnny, what are you promoting that for? And I'll say, well, I don't care because I love it, and I'm going to let people hear it.
Do you know what, John? It's spot on, isn't it? Music is music, and if you like the music, and you can relate to what you listen to. I don't particularly mind nor care on what genre it's supposed to be. Music is music. If it's good, it's good. If you like it, you like it. That's all. That's all you need. Surely you don't need much more than that. You don't need to be you don't need to be a follower of anything, and you don't have to be a sheep just following around what you're being told to listen to. I never do that. I listen to what I like.
Yeah, I mean, I love all this sort of 60s soul, northern soul. I love all sorts of music. And I think if you turn around and say, well, I won't listen to that, or you're afraid to say that you don't listen to it because you're worried about what others say, then, you know, I'm just true to myself, and I like what I like. And if you don't like it, then that's fine. But anyway, so speaking about Tom, obviously Tom got you in touch with some brilliant people, and that took you, I feel, to the next level of
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
it was absolutely good. Like, it was absolutely fantastic. But I think you done another step up when you did good people. So obviously, tell us about the people that you got involved with for the follow up album, all the good people.
All the good people. Well, all the good people. When that was written, I had sort of about a dozen little songs going around, and I didn't really know what to do with any of it. To be honest, I didn't want to do a repeat of Modified. I wanted to do something a little bit different. And Tom came up with a fantastic idea that I should go and approach Phil Sorrell, the fantastic Phil Sorrell from Caretaker Studios. I mean, go and speak to him about production and engineering. Well, me being me, was like, yeah, right. There's no way in this world that Phil has ever got. Like, I knew what Phil was all about. I've listened to his work. I knew the guys that he's working with, and I said there is no way on this earth that man is gonna want to do my music. And Tom was like, no, mate, honestly, man, it'd be good. I said, no, I ain't doing it. Not doing it. Well, it took me about a month actually for Tom. Tom was pretty much on my case about every 2 days. Have you done it? Have you done it? Have you done it? And in the end, Tom got Phil's phone number, and I actually gave him a call. And what a gentleman! Phil Sorrell is a legit gentleman, and I think he fully understood how nervous I was and how worried I was about what I was trying to do. And of course, not really knowing what the next step was. So I approached Phil, and yeah, do you know what? Come up trumps, and we started messing around with a few. We got one track. We messed around with one track, and this was just before the lockdown, the horrid lockdown. And I ended up digitally sending him all the tracks in individual, in stems across to him. And Phil was working on it. Then the lockdown came, and then Phil said, "Look, we can carry on. We can go to B plan. B plan basically is we do it all from the studio, and basically we more or less sent it backwards and forwards to each other, and still we got it to the best that we could in the circumstances." And honestly, when I first heard, I mean, the first track was "Isn't It a Pity," and when I came back with that, like, I'm 54 years old, yeah, and I love doing what I do. And when I heard that, I honestly had a tear in my eye. I think, wow, this is so good. You know, this is like more than I can expect, more than I could ever imagine. But but Phil's the boss, isn't he? You know, let's be honest, yeah. Of our kind of music, the man is phenomenal.
I personally don't know the man, but we've sort of crossed paths in we are friends on Facebook. We don't really work together or whatever, but I've noticed he comes up a lot in conversations that I've spoke to about, and obviously you've said a lot of good stuff about him. So obviously it was before the lockdown, which was obviously it must have been. I mean, it shows really how talented Phil is, really, but it must have been difficult to work by having to do that. Tell us a bit about that. You had to transfer it to him, he transferred it back, and just before you
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
just before, sorry, mate.
I never even knew that this thing existed. You know, that you could actually literally digitally send parts of the tracks. You know, and you can imagine, like, my studio is, entirely Mickey Mouse studio compared to what Phil's working in. And so so basically I recorded the songs to the best I could under Phil's instructions at home, and then I basically had to send him through a file sharing system the track, but in individual pieces of music. So he got every piece of music on that track individually. Then he had to rebuild it onto his platform in his studio. And then basically, he'd done his mastering work. And then, we were going backwards and forwards with what sounds good, what didn't sound good, and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, then Phil came up with this thing about, because I said to him, some of the songs need strings and need some keyboard work and stuff like that. And Phil said, you know what? I'll do that for you. I'll put them on. And he put those on. And like I said, for somebody of my position and somebody of my ilk in music, to have Phil play on there and do what he done, and to send those tracks backwards and forwards. I mean, to think that I've never actually been in the Caretaker studio. I've never met Phil in person, never met him in person, never been to the studio. And to think what came out of that EP, all the good people, what came out of that, knowing that I've never met him, never seen him, never shook his hand, never had a beer with a guy, all that stuff, all because of this COVID, right? But anyway,
I think that's
wow.
I think that's testament to obviously the talent he has. I mean, I would know nothing about producing a record, and I can barely do this Facebook Live. It's difficult as it is.
Yeah.
But it's testament to his talent, and it's also a testament to you and your talent. It's your songwriting. He's put it together, he's produced it, and it's all the two people that came together and made something brilliant. And the reason for this, well, the interview really, obviously, because we spoke about this, it was my idea. We want to push it. We want people to hear it. We want people to download it. You can even go to, and we'll go back to Bandcamp there. It's on the screen now. www.aldora Britain Records /bandcamp.com. Check it out. And the good people's on there. Is Modify's not on there though, is it?
Yeah, Modified's on Bandcamp as well, but it's not on Aldora. But you can go to Bandcamp and find but you can find the CDs here. Look, guys, look, I've prepared. Look, here we go. Look, there's all the good people. You can find that on the internet. Yeah, and then we got the Modified album. Hang on. Oh, I'm not good at this. Look. You got the Modified album that's on there as well. You can buy them on CDs, you can buy them on download as well. But yeah, they're all available. They're not hard to find. You can get them on from my Facebook shop as well. It's just a click of a button. But yeah, the idea is we get people to listen to it and get people to like it, and with a little bit of luck and the wind blowing in the right direction, that people might start to hear it more and get the idea of what I'm trying to do more. Like I say, I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not following anybody else. I'm being me. My music is all about me, and my music's all about what I do. But then when you got the likes of Phil, yourself, and Tom, the only way I can explain it is like batting in my corner for me to say, "Come on, we can do this. We can do this." Yeah, makes it all worthwhile. Absolutely all worthwhile.
I mean, I think we talked a while back about, say doing what you're doing. You realise, you're not going to be famous over putting the music out, and that's not the goal. It's you put so much effort into putting this out there that you want people to hear it, and and enjoy it. And I suppose when you put so much effort into something, it's like when I do a review, I want people to read it because I put so much effort into it that I want people to share it, I want them to read it, and I want them to discover that new band that I've started reviewing or talking about. So I suppose when you put so much effort into that, I mean, that's ultimately the goal. You want people to hear it, you want people to listen to it and buy it.
See,
that's exactly the goal, isn't it?
See, I have this thing. I'm not after fame or fortune or anything like that. I'm not even after people knowing what I look like. I'm not bothered. But if people like the music and they understand the music and they listen to the music and they just know what the music is without even knowing anything about me, I'm happy with that, because it is fundamentally, it is about the music. And if I can do that, and people like it, mate, I'm doing something all right. And you got to be happy with that. And yeah, I'm proud. I really am proud to where I were, say 24 months ago, just sitting on this pile of music to now having 2 CDs out. And of course, because we haven't mentioned a little one that I wrote for a certain person a few weeks back either, have we?
Before we get to that though, I mean, as a fan of music, and that's how Montevere's generation started, literally a fan. I'd like to know. I think the important thing for me listening to a song is finding out. Finding something from the lyrics is relatable to me. So I just want to know from you, what can you pick a track and then just tell us, you don't have to go into great detail, but just tell us what that track's about.
But I tell you what, if I've got my acoustic guitar here, and was wondering if you'd be interested in perhaps the song "Isn't It a Pity," which is from the new album. Yeah, okay. I was gonna perhaps do that on acoustic guitar and sort of talk about that particular track, because that particular track is the first one that we done with Phil. And although every track on there is absolutely phenomenal, that means a little bit more to me because that had my first wow moment. My second, and yeah, the song "Isn't It Pity." It's got quite a lot of meaning and quite a lot of strength behind it, and it's basically about people not listening to other people and trampling all over them to get to where they need to be without any regard of that person, and basically the little man who's just, or the little man or woman just there being used by others for their own needs and own gains. And I've had some experience in that. As you know, I mean, we spoke about this before. And the song's also about the hurt that creates. When people hurt somebody, you don't have to punch somebody in the face to hurt somebody. You can hurt somebody by being, in my little daughter's term, mean. You can be mean to somebody, and
mental health,
and it gets you nowhere. Sorry, John, what was that?
I said mental health, something men don't talk about, but I think, wounds will heal, but those sometimes emotional scars are worse, because they don't go away.
Yeah.
In your mind, so
absolutely. There's a line in the song, which is "Turn Our Backs on Today," and I was asked about this a little while ago. Turn our backs on today. What do you actually mean about that? And what I meant by that turn our back on today is like, do you know what? Today we could fix something. We could fix somebody. We could help somebody. We could guide somebody, or we could just sit down and have a coffee with somebody. We could do all of that. Or what we can do is ignore it, and go, do you know what? I'll do that tomorrow. But it's always tomorrow, isn't it? And that's the thing, and that's what that means by turn our back on today. It's no need, absolutely no need for the hurt that people cause to other people. And like I say, people who know me will know that I'm a real big thing about the bullying, all that kind of stuff. I absolutely 100% detest it. I much rather be hanging around talking to people who are like myself. We're quite soft and gentle. We know what we like and we know what we want to do. what we don't want is we don't want to be mentally tortured and beat up along the way. And that, that's happened to me a few times. And I can assure you that when that's gone, that when it's gone and people go, "Oh, you're all right now," you go, yeah, I'm all right now. Yeah, you are all right. But the scars are always there, and you just wait for those scars to be torn apart again. It's it's not a good thing. So yeah, this song, it means so much to me, and it means it means so much because it means so much, and of course the other important thing as well, it's the first song that me and Phil worked together with. So you put all that together, it means the world to me. So if you want me to, I'll do an acoustic version if you want.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love that. I'm sure the people watching would love to. Just before we do that, so I also just want to say that obviously shines through the passion and the feeling and everything else. So, testing too, man. Go for it. We'd love to hear it.
You go for it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So guys, this song, obviously, if you go and listen to the album or download it or whatever you want to do, this song on the CD is absolutely epic. It's a massive song. And so what we've actually done today is broke it down to simplify it, just so it's acoustically being played. And I'm going to give it a go. So Phil, if you are out there and you are listening, I do apologise for taking away the great work that you put into it. But we're going back to basics, and I think you've probably heard it like this before. So here it is. Isn't it a pity? From all the good people. Here we go. Hang on. Drink. And chasing dreams that you'll never find. Let it fall from the sky. Something nothing in my mind lies. Let the truth shine bright. It's the feeling of each other along the way. It's the pity how we turn our backs on today. I got silence, hear what I say. In silence, all the silence still be great. I never know one, I can only be me. Let me dream one day. It's the pity how we hurt each other along the way. It's the pity how we turn our backs on yesterday. It's the pity how we hurt each other along the way. It's the pity how we turn our backs on today. Just save your love. Where is your love? Where is your love? And my dreams, and they're fading away. Search for courage along the way. It's no pity how we hurt each other along the way. It's no pity how we turn our backs on yesterday. Chasing dreams that you'll never find. Let it fall, let it fall from the sky. Something for nothing, you hide behind lies. Let the truth shine bright. It's the feeling how we turn our backs on yesterday. It's the feeling how we hurt each other along the way. It's the feeling how we hurt each other along the way. It's the feeling how we turn our backs on yesterday. Oh, oh, And that was using as a penny. Thank you, people.
Brilliant, man. And obviously, if people want to buy, go to your go to the Facebook page, hit the shop now tab, or give us a message. Well, I'm sure Darren will help you out. And if you want the
absolutely,
modified album, you can go to Aldora Britain Records, as we spoke about. Even go and buy that album, but go and download the compilations. Some of them are about £1, aren't they, Darren? Like £1 for about 30 whatever songs. I mean, you're
I mean, you know, there's on Aldora Records. You know, there's I think was there 38, 39 albums, something like that's available.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, you know, sort of 18, 20 tracks an album. I think it would cost would cost you about £30 to buy the whole. It's like you know, if you were to spend £30 buy everything from Aldora, from Aldora Records, you know, you'd be busy for 9 months listening to that music. You wouldn't have to buy another single track.
It would certainly keep you entertained during the lockdown, and hopefully we don't go into a further lockdown. But if we do, you've always got Aldora Records to keep you happy and smiling while you're.
I mean, you know, if people can't find it, and you know, like, please get in touch with myself. I'll give you the link. You know, I'll post it all over my Facebook page. But you know, you don't have to buy all that music. You can go on there. You can scan through the music. You can pick out the track. You know, if there's any particular genre of music that you like, or you know, it's all there. Just go for it. It costs pennies, absolute pennies, and Tom's not making no money out of it. Us people who are putting music on there, we're not making anything out of it. So all we want is, you know, like John, like Bill. All we want is people to hopefully listen to our music. You know, that's all we ask for. Nothing more. You know, we're not. No, we're not superstars. We're not heroes. But if everybody's doing their little bit and new music to get them out there before long, so you know, we will get heard. You know. Some people are going to get heard more than others, but some people are far more talented than others. But yeah, you know, please do come on my page and ask the questions, man. You know, we dig the links out for you. You know, it's brilliant.
So yeah, obviously, big shout out to Tom and what he does. Just talking about your new track, if I tell that the backstory. So I think when we first, I think I've told this to every band I've ever interviewed, hoping that maybe they'll do it for me. But I've said, you know, I'd love someone to write the song called Mods of Your Generation. And I never expected anyone to do that. I mean, I just sort of Googled that. I think it's a cool name. Maybe I'm biased because I thought of it and whatever. But I've just always thought it was a cool name. And I just happened to mention in the early stages of us, I never mentioned it again, but I mentioned that I would love somebody to write a song. So we were obviously working together, developing a lovely friendship, speaking regularly. And then we'd set up the Facebook page, we're starting the club, blah, blah, blah. And then you messaged me, I think you were going on holiday or something, and you said, I'm going to write a song called Monster of Generation. And I'm like, what? And I was like, are you, like, really? You know, I mean, I'm a massive fan of music, and obviously a massive fan of yours, and now we're obviously good friends. So
Thank you.
to write me a song, I was blown away, and you know, I didn't know what to say, so I was like, yeah, go for it, man. And when you first sent me it, and obviously we had listened, we tweaked a few things, and it's just me and you and what we were doing, but I was just blown away, mate. So obviously talk about that, and obviously why your reasons behind that, because that's something I didn't expect. It was just a throwaway comment.
Well, yeah, my music actually isn't about me. You know, it's not about me as a person. My music's about the music. And I love writing, and if I can get people to listen to music, that's what I'm going to do. When I think it was about 6 months ago that you actually said, in tongue in cheek as well. It wasn't a request or anything. It was more tongue in cheek. It'd be great if somebody wrote a song called Mods of Your Generation. And back at the time, I thought, I wish I was capable of doing that. You know, I really wish I was capable of doing it. And then as time went on, it wouldn't let it. You know, it was in my head. It wouldn't go away. And the more I thought about it, and then I had a few ideas on what to do. But unfortunately, my first ideas, they turned into a well-known Who song with the word generation in it. It just, it was
when I listened,
it was so hard to break away from that,
Yeah, when I listened to that, obviously classic song, and anybody who's watching, I'm sorry, but every time I listen to that, that's all I hear. So I put my own, most of your.
But yeah,
rather than my.
It was I think I had about 15 versions of the song at some point or another written down on pieces of paper, sort of all around the living room. I think Molly at one point was, oh, not that song again, Daddy, that kind of thing. She's sitting there going, yeah. But then, like I said, I think I told you I was working on it because I was working on it without telling you, and then I told you I was working on it, and then I said I was going on holiday for a week, and then when I come back from holiday, I'm going to have something done for you. And as you well know, I went on that holiday and come back with absolutely nothing. just didn't do it. I couldn't work on it at all, and I carried on working on it. And funny enough, I think I've told you this, and there's going to be a few people frown now, but the actual inspiration of the song, the bareness of the song actually came from an ABBA song. Of all the bands, of all the songs, an ABBA song, and it just there was something in there, and I was, oh, hang on, that in my head, I sort of imagined something doing this, and then I sort of quickly picked the guitar up, and then I think 3 hours later, I think we had the song. So from one small thing that happened, of all the months of trying and going backwards and forwards, completely revamped it. There's nothing in the actual finished song that was in the first 15 attempts, nothing at all. Completely brand new, completely fresh idea, and that just flew. It actually flew off the paper,
Yeah, it sounds a lot like my reviews. I'll start writing them and then scrap them again. Yeah, but yeah. So just going, you touched on ABBA there. Anybody out there who doesn't like ABBA needs to have a word with themselves. So we love it. Anyway, so I was obviously overwhelmed. You sent the track to me, and I absolutely loved it. We obviously decided to put it on iTunes, and it's on there. What do we put it on? 99p. I mean, download for 99p. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a fun song. It is a fun song. It's not meant to be like a serious song, as we know. Yeah, it's a little bit punky. It's a little bit moddy. It's a little bit of this and there's a little bit of that. But the bottom line is all me. It's all me at the bottom line. And yeah, it's written for yourself and mods for your generation. Yeah, and like I said, I gave you the song, so yeah, it's your song.
Just on that, obviously we went to plugging it, and obviously I've been telling everybody about it. I've been going to work saying my friends wrote me a song, listen to it, and everybody's been like, whatever, Johnny. So I've been overwhelmed and like a little girl cutting about telling everybody that I've got a song written for me and everything. So it's been quite overwhelming. But we reached out to a few radio and stuff like that to obviously get some airplay. So big shout out to Tommy Clark. Hopefully he's watching. He played on his third class ticket show, which was brilliant, and thanks very much for that and support. And we also David Hearn, is that right?
Say that again, sorry.
David Hearn, is that his name? From Seabird Radio. He played.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he played it. So obviously, and he's played some stuff from Modified and all the good people, and he's huge support.
That's right, yeah.
We might as well give a big shout out to him. Who else? Obviously Tom. I mean, Tom's always a massive support, so he's obviously giving us the thumbs up, which we love.
We've got Target Radio as well, isn't it?
Target Radio. I'm not sure if I haven't personally heard it on there, but maybe they have, and I'm sure, obviously, they're huge friends.
Yeah, I know that Target played the Modified, quite a few tracks from Modified, and there's a couple of people there who's quite excited by it all, and I'm pretty sure as well. Last week they played a couple of areas of mods of your generation as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
And it's all free for me. People say to me, Johnny, why do you put your name everywhere? And I'm like, well, mods of your generation is a platform for, if I self-promote myself, then I'm able to promote others. So it's all self-promotion to promote others. And the fact that, and then, if people want to come on my page and put their stuff on there and advertise your stuff, that's what it's for. That's what it's for. I've built up a big following now. Let's use that platform to promote good music. And that's why I love working with people like Tom and other sort of pages. I mean, I sort of welcome it. We're all in it for the
same absolutely, yeah.
Music. Don't even know what else can we talk about? We might as well just sit and ramble absolute rubbish for the next couple of hours. Why not?
Yeah. So have we got anybody asking us any questions, or are they just listening to us to rabbit on?
In the sidelines there. Have we got any questions? Okay, see it.
You can say hello. If anyone's interested, I've got little Molly here with me. Yeah, she's a bit too shy to come on and say hello, but she's here sitting with me.
Does she have any inspirations to being a musician or getting into music?
Yeah, our little girl, beautiful and talented that she is. She's now playing piano, and she's I've got to be honest. Some of her piano playing, when I listen to that, it's like, yeah, she's going to be on my next album pretty soon. She's really good, really good. Yeah, very proud of her. Yeah.
You could have Molly and Phil on there.
Dad and daughter.
You could have Phil on it as well, couldn't you? He plays piano.
Yeah.
Put them on there. Why not?
Yeah.
So obviously, I think we touched on everything, and I think there's no point in carrying on. I feel like we've talked about everything. I'm not sure. I might get any pushed up. My internet's rubbish, to be fair. And to be honest, I don't even know if we're still online. But I've had a great time talking to you, and obviously, hopefully, you've had a great time talking to me. As always, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely, mate. Thank you so much. And obviously, from where I'm sitting, I can't see if anybody's actually listening to this or whether entirely on their own. Got no idea. We don't know. We don't know any of the questions. But again, if people have asked the questions and we haven't managed to get to your questions, please post them anyway. And Johnny and myself, we'll come back to you. I promise you, we will answer. Anybody's got a question that we've missed, we will answer every question, and we will put it out there. And at this point, really want to thank each and everybody. like who has listened to my music, supported my music, supported what I do, and supported the others as well. There's plenty of others like me out there. But yeah, from the bottom of my heart, really, really appreciate it. Appreciate the people like Johnny here, top man, Tom Hillman, Phil Sorrell, absolute legends, yeah. And without you guys, I wouldn't be what I'm doing today. So yeah, thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Really, really do.
Just for people watching, we've got the link back on screen there for Aldora Britain Rock Records. Tom Hillman, absolute legend. What a great guy. And obviously another, like you said, another support of yours and many other great bands and artists out there. So check him out. And if you do want to buy any of Darren's stuff, I'm just going to plug it. Why not? www.darrentuckermusic.bigcartel.com, or send the page a message, or even send Multiverse Generation a message, and I'll try and get the answer for you to find out where to buy it. But you can also buy the good people from Aldora Records as well. So you've got multiple choice, and hopefully we're looking at getting Multiverse Generation out on other platforms as well. If other people, so.
Yeah, I think that you and I will I don't think that one's put to bed yet, is it? We're going to be working out something for that, aren't we? Yeah.
It's all for the love of music. People like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. But obviously, everybody's support and is welcomed, and this is the reason of getting on here and just having a chat. Why not? Me and you chat for hours anyway, so why not let other people eavesdrop in? You know what I mean? Why not? So, yeah. I think we'll leave it there, mate, and go and have a cup of tea, and I'll probably ring you afterwards anyway, and we'll carry on talking together for another couple of hours.
Lovely job. Yeah, all right, mate. You take care now, and to the people out there, all the good people. Yeah, love each and every one of you. You take care, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you, man. See you later.